Do you sometimes feel like you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, and there's this fear that you are going to say the dumbest things or you're going to sound stupid? That is kind of how I feel half the time. And it's kind of funny because even turning on this camera, I feel like I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm doing, but the Lord has been pushing me to talk about Him, talk about my life, talk about my experiences, talk about Jesus more, because that is a big part of my life. It's a big part of my identity. I used to be so fearful about talking about things like this online because I was scared of losing numbers or being labeled a certain way, and there's like this uncomfortable reality that comes with talking about Jesus, and I don't know why I was so fearful of it. But the more that I spend time with Jesus, the more that I realize He literally was the perfect human being that ever lived, and He was still hated. He was hated the second He was born. And so no matter what I do to gain people's approval or gain people in my life or gain numbers or whatever it is, it doesn't mean anything and it will not satisfy. And I will always seek to find that in people when I can just rest in the fact that Jesus has found me. As I turn on this camera and I want to do something different with my presence online. I want to do something different with my social media. And I've been doing it for a couple years now. And from what I've learned has really shifted the way that I see people and myself and identity and things like that. And the second that I moved this false identity that I had and shifted it into the identity that I have in Jesus, I've gained this whole new level of peace and satisfaction and fulfillment that I would never have experienced if I didn't just let go of the control that I had on certain parts of my life and parts of my life that really were idols for me. And that was like social media and how I viewed my career and my future and my dreams. If you followed me on my other social media platforms, you'd really see the shift that I've kind of experienced over the last 6 months. I'm not trying to whiplash people, but I'm just trying to step into a new space that I think I feel more called for. And that really ties into the topic that I wanted to originally talk about on here was God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And that is something that I didn't fully understand until I've experienced it. For a huge part of my life, I have been self-conscious of the way that I spoke and the things that come out of my mouth. Because I have this hard time of articulating, and I mean literally articulating things and communicating what's going on in my brain to outside. Like, it's kind of ironic that the thing that I'm doing right now is talking to the camera and talking online. Things like this challenge my faith because I sit there and I'm like, okay, God, like I know that you have called me into spaces and you have asked me to do certain things, but why do I feel like I should not be here? Why do I feel like there are better people out there who can do exactly what I'm doing right now? Jesus's whole ministry and message, it's about calling the broken, and a big part of the story. And if you just dive into the Bible, if you read one story, you are going to see that He uses the most broken people, the most unqualified people to do the most amazing thing. This really ties into this idea that we cannot do things on our own. More often than not, we're not qualified to do anything. We are broken human beings with broken lives and sinful hearts. It really just shows how much we need Jesus and how much we need God in our life when you finally understand that it's not about your qualifications, your skills, your education level. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with your heart and where God calls you to be and go. And it really makes us rely on Him as our source for everything. That's kind of how I'm approaching these things and how I'm approaching even talking about Jesus on social media, which has been kind of like a crazy last few months because never in a million years would I have thought that I would be talking about Jesus in the way that I do online. But that just shows the power of just letting go and allowing Jesus to work in your life and in your heart. I am so beyond grateful that He is so patient and kind with me, and He has been holding my hand through this journey. He has taught me a lot about myself, made me reflect And in return, it helps me navigate life in a different way. And I've been able to unlock this level of peace and joy that I know is only rooted in Jesus. And I know that He is the reason that I am still here today. He is the reason that I put a smile on my face despite the fact that I have walked through things and have experienced things that should make me a super bitter and angry person. He has been healing me from the inside out, and He is still healing me. And I'm obviously not at a perfect state, and I still have moments where I cry out to God and I'm like, God, I don't get it. I don't know why I had to go through these things. I don't know why I feel so broken, why I feel so unloved, why I feel so unwanted. But it's a journey, it's a process. And the beautiful thing about Jesus is that He loves you so unconditionally, despite the fact that you are so broken. And He met me at my most broken, unlovable self. But that is where the biggest transformation happened in my life, and where my life really pivoted for the best. For a big part of my life, fear was something that really drove the things that I did, and how I moved in my life, how I made decisions, how I approached people and situations and things. And something that has really challenged my faith is to override those thoughts and those feelings and that fear with the faith that I have in Jesus, and the faith that He has come to really give us life and to wipe away the dark, ugly, broken heart you have. And I just want to read this verse from 2 Corinthians 3:5, which says, "Not that we are sufficient in ourselves to claim anything as coming from us, but our sufficiency is from God, who has made us sufficient to be ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life." It is not our own abilities, not our own skills, not our own works that really makes the change, but it's the Spirit in us, and it's Jesus that qualifies. It has nothing to do with us at the end of the day. There's also this beauty in that it alleviates all the pressure that you have to be a certain way. It has nothing to do with you. He just asks us to have a willing heart, and one that seeks Him first before all things. Everything follows once you seek Him. So as you move forward in your life, I want you to take a step of faith, not of fear. Just ask God, whatever your will is in my life, whatever you have called me for, give me the strength and confidence to move forward despite the fact that I'm unqualified. I want you to remove this idea that, oh, you might not be qualified in this way, or you may not feel this way or think this way or whatever it may be. I want you to wipe that out and just look to God. Ask God, where do you want me to go? And just walk through that door. See where He does want you to go. You'll realize that there's a beauty in having someone else take care of you, and there's a beauty in not having to do it all on your own. And I hope that this video was not me just rambling about random things. Like, me talking right now, it feels like I didn't really get to a point, but I hope when I edit things, something good comes out of this. But I'm also going to trust God that, you know what, if He's pushing me to press that on button, then I have to trust that He's also going to carry me through whatever it is that He wants me to do. And I hope it was encouraging, it was a blessing, and I just want to remind you, you've got this and God's got you. Bye.